Hello everyone, you're watching the Green Dream Project, and I knew this was coming, but I was a bit off. This past Tuesday, it was 1 year off the grid. This past Tuesday was the day we moved from the double adobe campground to the land. Very exciting, 1 year off the grid. I was gonna try and do this video on that day, but maybe I should have marked it in my calendar. Maybe I should have did it. I didn't do it, but here we are. Let's talk about it. 1 year off the grid. What happened in this 1 year? So much has gone on. Join us. We're going to talk about it. All right. 1 year off grid. As you can see, Jessica's with us now. How's it going? How's it going, girl? Doesn't she look adorable with the ponytail here? What?
Don't get weird.
Don't get weird? 1 year off grid, man. It's been a crazy year, right? So this is just, we're just gonna reflect a little bit on what we've done, what we've gone through, some of the challenges, some of the things that we've faced. 1 year ago, this past Tuesday, we moved from double adobe over to here. There was some things we had done before we moved out just to get things ready. Like we had the shipping container out here. We had the mulch basins dug because we wanted to get that ready for the gray water. The motorhome was out here.
We got the water tanks
Oh yeah.
delivered out here like right before we moved.
The water tanks came just before we moved, and we had the water delivery. Once we had the water delivery, we came out like right away the next day, something like that. It was quick. I'll actually link that video of that move. I don't know if you're interested. I'll put that right there.
Don't forget.
I'll probably forget. Don't expect it to be there. So we made that move. Peter was with us at that time. We were still working online. We were running a generator for our power needs, and man, we were running that generator hard for I'd say maybe 10-12 hours a day for 4 months. The automatic starter didn't really work on it, so I think you and Peter had a lot of hard time starting that. And then we had issues like we weren't familiar with how fast we'd be going through propane on that. Like I think it was like the first or second day you were like, oh man, like should we go back? Like it was tough dealing with that generator, wasn't it? We just hung in there. We ended up getting a larger tank that would get us through the day. I think we realized that when we got out here, solar was going to be the big project, right? It was definitely something we felt we needed to do sooner rather than later. I piecemealed it from everywhere, from like eBay, have the panels in Tempe.
Yeah, you actually had to drive up there and pick them up, right?
Different online sources. No, don't get me wrong. Solar was important, but the first thing we had to do was the humanure. Because you got to have some place for the poo to go, am I right?
That's important.
That's super important. And actually, we were filling up buckets while I'm trying to get this thing going, and it's just quite a few post holes I had to dig. And then I got the idea to do the walls with pallets, so that went up a little quicker. And I think it turned out pretty well. It took me about, 6 buckets? 6 buckets of time.
That's how we measure time now.
So the humanure was the first thing we did. Then getting all the solar equipment, the shed build. And the shed build took a while.
Still not done.
And technically it's still not done. It was just a timber frame construction, and that went pretty easy and pretty well. But it was the filling it out with the earthen fiber adobe that took a while. And I think a lot of people ran out of juice. Like we had Peter out there helping, Grace out there helping, but then I think everyone just kind of ran out of juice.
Yeah, well, it was the middle of summer.
It was the middle of summer. It was hot.
Hot, lot of flies.
A lot of flies. No one wanted to be out there. And then even I had to quit because I had to I gotta get started on the solar, otherwise it's never gonna get done. then you were out there by yourself working on it for a while, right? Like you were out there working on the shed by yourself, and then I was working on the solar. That was crazy. Built the racking system for the solar panels. Probably needs to get redesigned. Probably not the best racking system, but it's what I could think of at the time. I got the wiring done for the panels. I figured out how to do that. Made my own MC4 connectors. I was real proud of that. Got the wiring done up until the shed. Again, many thanks to Derek Howlett for coming out here. I think it's just a couple days work and he really got everything cinched in, connected real nice, and then got us up and running on solar, which was huge. That was a game changer, being able to get off the generator. Then we were just done. Then it was done. I was like, screw that noise, and then I just stopped with everything. Now then Grace came out shortly after we had the solar up, right? I was kind of busting my tail trying to get the solar running so that Grace could come up. I mean, I was digging so many trenches, and digging those trenches was a long, arduous process. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Probably all three of those. But then Grace came out. I knew winter was coming. I had to fix the furnace. I had to replace the motor on that. A lot of little projects in between a lot of the bigger projects, eh? Seems like there was always something. Then once Grace was out here, there was like issues too with Grace just getting everything situated. She had problems with the trailer being out of level. I had to come up with a solution for that. There was issues with water, getting water into her fresh water tank. I had to come up with a solution for that.
And managing the power.
At night, you only get a certain amount of power, so that had to be adjusted. It was really rough during the winter because the furnace in her RV didn't work, and then she had it stripped out. So then there was like no chance of it working.
So she had an electric heater, which really sucked power.
Yeah, I mean, it ran at 1,500 watts. So it'd be like turning on the microwave and just letting it run for hours and hours and hours. Eventually, we did convince her to get a propane heater, and that worked a lot better, one of those big buddy heaters. But then Peter ended up leaving us. Got a new happy life in Douglas with his girlfriend. Grace is kind of claustrophobic, so living in a trailer is kind of tough for her.
She had 2 dogs, and then she got a 3rd dog, so that, gave her less space.
And when she got out here, she immediately wanted a deck to kind of increase that living space. So Bob came and helped her put that up. And then she wanted an awning right away, and so that's kind of where this idea came from, because she needed an awning. And they're like, well, we need a water catchment system anyway, so let me build something that can go in front of all 3 of the things, which would give everyone plenty of space out in front, plenty of shade, and give quite a bit of water catchment. Got a little greenhouse that's back there. Kind of get some things growing out here, get our feet wet. It's pretty much on its last legs now. If you look on the inside of there, it's just all torn up. The wind and the sun has just been beating on that thing. Then of course the roof build happened, started this year. And our first year has been all water delivery, which we've had 3 water deliveries during that year. But not something we want to continue, so we'll have this done shortly, hopefully. Okay, so water harvesting is obviously a big thing for us, and I don't know why it took us a while. I mean, we have roof structures, and I don't know why we didn't put anything up sooner. Grace and Peter did throw up like a ramshackle little water catchment, getting water into a barrel, and it was thrown up kind of quick, and it was like quick and dirty water catchment. Not bad.
It worked.
It worked, but a little definitely inconvenient, and definitely not the most efficient. Finally, we got our butts in gear. We were expecting precipitation, and I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. So we threw up the gutters, put an IBC tote over there, and then, well, the first iteration didn't work too well. I think we used a daisy container and a piece of a hose or something like that. It wasn't working. So then we got a couple more parts from the store, hooked up some PVC, and then it worked beautifully. A nice way to get some extra water. We planted some trees. That was something we did out here, right?
Yeah.
We dug the basins, but there was nothing in there, so we wanted to get some trees out there. We chose more native species because they'd be more drought tolerant, But then, of course, if you've been watching our videos recently, you know Grace left, and I think that was just numerous reasons. You know, like the winter I think was tough on her. I think the limited resources was kind of a scary thing, and then just no financial stake here. You know, like she didn't own anything here, so if she built anything, or if something happened to us, she'd be out of luck. Then of course the garden build that started happening. That's obviously a project that will continue into the second year. There's a bunch of them.
I think just starting a life off-grid and being on YouTube and kind of making our life somewhat more public. You know, we've run across quite a bit of criticism and a little bit of negativity from just offline too. People who maybe don't quite understand our point of view or what we're trying to do. People who think that it can't be done, and just kind of some personal attacks too. So that's been challenging. So I feel like, you know, we've accomplished a lot over the past year, and we still have quite a ways to go. So for people who kind of have a negative perspective on that, or think that we can't do it, I just want to show them. You know, there's not much you can say.
Talk is cheap. You have to show them it can be done. Yeah, it's slow going, and we got things we got to prove.
Yeah. There's a lot more to come.
Definitely, as we keep continuing to improve what we're doing out here, improve the land, and it's gonna be exciting. All the things, but it just takes time. We're doing everything by hand, so like, and it's just now, especially it's just the two of us. Well, it's kind of always just been the two of us, and it's gonna be the two of us now, focused. That's how it started, and that's how it's gonna be. We wouldn't have it any other way, right? Teamwork. It's been a wild ride. I think this next year is going to be awesome as well. Definitely stick around. Should be a lot of fun. All right, thanks a lot for joining us, everyone. Stay tuned for Off Grid Year 2. We'll catch you on the next video, everyone. Bye.